Well, good morning everyone. Happy Monday. How's everybody keeping? I have to say, we're in early this morning. The whip has been behind us and we're basically catching up on the last of our own door wreaths. So again, just giving you a typical idea there of the door wreaths and also some of our grave wreaths. Now we do make our grave wreaths a little bit fancier, kind of more premium rather than kind of plain. And people are always asking us like about the grave wreath, like what's the difference of a grave wreath and a door wreath? Now some people make them less decorated, I suppose, to use a lot less material. Sometimes that's to do with price, especially if you have to buy maybe 3 or 4 different grave wreaths around Christmas time. It can work out expensive. So by the florists putting less material or making them less decorated, it is going to work out that bit cheaper for you. But like myself personally, I prefer like a real kind of like fancy door wreath, fancy grave wreath, and I don't skimp on the material that I'm putting in them. Anyway, today I'm going to give you a couple of lessons on bows. And again, if anybody has any questions, you know, that way, start posting your questions in the comments there. Anything that you'd like me to maybe answer, or again, maybe to show you while I'm actually here. Again, to get us started, let me know who's watching, where are you watching in from, and what's the weather like in your part of the world. So obviously we're here in Dublin, in Rialto. It's a wet, dismal, grey morning here, I have to say. Nothing exciting happening, definitely nothing to write home about. It's dry at the moment, but I have to say it was pretty shite earlier on. So shite weather in Dublin, don't know what it's like around the rest of Ireland, and obviously the rest of the UK, etc. So a lot of questions. Are we anything there?
No, not yet. No. Couple of Merry Christmas is coming in.
A lot of questions about this particular bow, okay, which I call the collar bow. And this is the velvet ribbon or the velour ribbon that I use for making that bow, right? And people are always saying, like, you know what I mean, how much ribbon do you need to make the bow? Well, it really depends on how big you want to make it. So normally what I do is, rather than just randomly cutting a strip of ribbon, I kind of like make the bow kind of roughly in my hand here, you know, that way, and then decide, okay, that's the length. And then that way then, I'm not wasting any of the ribbon. I also like both ends of the ribbon to do that 45-degree angle cut up into it. And you see the way you get that dove wing, you see at the bottom, and the same at the other end. Rather than leaving it squared off, fold it over in half, and the trick is from the open side, that's the angle that you start, cut on a 45-degree angle up, and then you see when you open it up, that's how you get that point.
The twisted tulips are saying it's sunny in London.
Oh, there you go.
It's dull in Wales.
Dull in Wales and sunny in London. Brilliant. So off to London this weekend. Yeah. I think that's what we'll do. Okay, to make this bow, I'm always describing it as wrapping it around your neck and crossing it under your chin, right? Now the only thing is, I see a lot of these bows and their 2 loops then are going east and west, okay? I'll show you. So what I'm showing you now is the wrong way of doing the bow. So when they're wrapping it around their neck and they're crossing it under the chin, when they bring the back part into the front, okay, can you see the way the loop is kind of more facing to the east and the west? It's a very flat looking bow, I think, okay? So to get this bow to be a little bit perkier,
over that way a little bit, yeah,
there we go.
Now, yeah.
To get the bow to be a little bit perkier, you need these loops to be kind of sticking upwards. So they're more the northeast and the northwest rather than the east and the west. Or I often describe it like bunny's ears, okay? Cocky bunny's ears, sticking kind of up on top of their head. So how I do that, ignore now about the wrapping around your neck, okay? Ignore about the loop. All I want you to concentrate now is the tails, okay? See these 2 strips of ribbons that are crossing over each other. If you can work it, that one of the strips of ribbon, so just concentrate on that one there, that strip of ribbon is coming down dead straight. And the other one is going across it, okay? So this ribbon is going across there, dead straight, and that strip of ribbon is coming down dead straight. So concentrate on that. Don't concentrate on the part that, you know, around your neck, just for the moment, okay? And then turn it like that. Now, where them 2 ribbons are overlapping, you probably can't see this. I can only see it because I'm up close, right? But the shadow that's in behind where them 2 ribbons are overlapping, there's actually a square shape, right? If you have that perfect square shape, and again you've double checked that one ribbon is coming down straight and the other one ribbon is going across, you're rock and roll, you're on a roll there, you can't go wrong. So now pinch the 2 of them together and now grab what I call around the back of the neck. So the finger that's wiggling here, right, this is at the back of the neck and I'm kind of in the middle. So I'm going to bring the middle of this ribbon in level behind that perfect square. So can you see the way the loops now are more kind of going the northeast and the northwest, rather than the one I showed you earlier that was wrong. It was actually going east and west. Now what you do is turn it on its side. So you have a finger and thumb at this side, and you have a finger and your thumb at this side here. Now it doesn't matter if you use both hands at the same time or you start on one side and you come over to the other. I describe this as squeeze it, make a pleat, crunch it, scrunch it, gather it, whatever word I use. But the secret is to make them really tiny, okay? So I'm starting at the edge here and I'm making the tiniest little pleat, the tiniest little pleat, the tiniest little pleat. So I'm going across there, scrunching that in nice and tight. You see the angle there and all the little pleats and gathers that I got. Then using a 20 gauge wire, but listen, you can use a strip ribbon as well, okay? So using the 20 gauge wire, I'm going to wrap it around the centre. I have a short piece of wire and a long piece of wire. I'm bringing the two pieces of wire, I hold it against the white background there that you can see it. Two pieces of wire, I'm going to squash them in together there, so you can see the way they're squashed in together. And then the long piece of wire, I'm going to wrap one around the other, do you see, like that, and straighten it back out again. And then I'm going to turn the bow around to the front. You can see it's all squashed and squeezed now. And the thing is, using my finger and my thumb like a pliers, I'll go in between the loop, and you see the way I'm kind of like stretching that out. I'll go in between that other one and again stretch that out. So now you can really see they're cocky, as I call them. Cocky bunny's ears upwards, northeast and northwest. And our two tails, we pull them downwards. So they're not going to be cocky, okay? They're going to be hanging down. So we're going to pull them downwards like that. And then we have the wire at the back. So then the wire was able to go insert down into our grave wreath or our door wreath. And again, we were able to get that shape. Again, if there's any questions there, hopefully that has solved problems that people were having with this particular bow. Any questions?
No, lots of weather forecasts coming in. It's raining in Inverness.
All right. At least you haven't got snow. Because our Sinead, who lives in Inverness, she's coming home for Easter. So
for Easter?
Christmas. I tell you, we're that Christmas down here at the moment. Roll on Easter. We were actually talking about Easter classes here earlier on. That's how it's on my brain. But she's coming home for the Christmas, so hopefully there's no snow, or that could delay them getting home.
And it's wet and mucky in Mullingar as well. And Celine says, good morning, ladies.
Good morning,
from Cold
Celine.
Damp Monarch. She says it feels like ages since we've been on live.
Well, we were on last week, we were.
Yeah, but I think Celine was on it. I think she was on a shopping spree last week.
I think she was on a session, I think she was. Another question that we've been getting asked about, or again, people, and I did a class on this, but again, obviously some people weren't watching, or they were off shopping, or they were on a hangover day, whatever, and you've missed this, okay? And this was the ribbon for going across the wreaths, you see, for the Loving Christmas Remembrance. And you buy this ribbon from O'Neill's Flowers, okay? Celine will tag them in the comments there. Now, this is the first year that O'Neill's have got it in, but we haven't been able to get it for a few years. So the rolls that I had were all old rolls that I had over the years. And even this roll here, I'll have that next year and the year after, because there's absolutely tons on it. But the one that I did have in the past, the writing was larger and it kind of went over a longer space of ribbon. And also, do you see the gap between, so that's where the loving starts and the remembrance ends. Do you see the space in between where the last initial and the first initial? With this ribbon, it's quite short, it is. It's very little space there. So when I cut it, so I'm cutting it in the middle there, I was left with a really short strip of ribbon. Now normally in the past I had lots of extra ribbon, and then what I was able to do was wire both ends and then secure it into the wreath. But I found with the ribbon this year, okay, and I'll show you like later on, if I was to gather that in to wire it, I'd lose the first initial of the loving and I'd lose the last initial of the remembrance. So what I did was I got a strip of ribbon, and again you should probably measure it, okay, so you're not wasting any of it, okay. So just a strip, and again this can be the cheaper ribbon if you want. And then what I did was I placed the In Love and Remembrance on it. You see that sort of effect, okay? So just get your spacing right, and you have the same amount of ribbon on both ends. So I have it spaced, and then I'm going to use the stapler. You can use sellotape, but the stapler is better, okay? And I'm just stapling that on kind of like there flat. And then I'm going to come down the ribbon, okay? Make sure it's nice and even.
And then Celine has just put the link for the Love and Christmas Remembrance up.
Brilliant. You know what? She's a little treasure. She is. Do you know Santi's going to be so good?
I think Santi's going to be so good.
I hope her husband is listening.
Yeah, so do I.
She deserves to be spoiled. And again, I'm just putting the stapler at the other end. So that's what it looks like. So then to secure it onto your wreath, what you do is, you see the end of the ribbon here, okay? Starting at one side, you do the tiniest little pleat, another little pleat, another little pleat, and another little pleat. So don't just squash it in, okay? Make the little gathers, make the little pleat. Now I'm right-handed, so what you do then is you hold it in your left hand. Now remember, if you're watching this on Instagram, do you know that way sometimes it reverses the camera. So that's my left hand, and my left hand is on top holding it. Get a 20 gauge wire, make the smallest hairpin bend, like a little hook at the top of the wire. It makes no difference do you place it at the back or the front. There's no difference, okay? So place it on whatever side you want. Squash it and squeeze it in with your left hand nail. Do you see there? Like, just squash that in nice and neat. And you see the way I've left a little bit of ribbon sticking out. Then hold the wire halfway down and then wrap the wire around 2 or 3 times and straighten it back out again. When I let it go, you can see the way it's squashed in there. But then this is another little trick. If you actually open out the pleats, you see like what I'm doing there? Open them out. Do you see the way it sits like a square? Now if you missed that, I'm going to do it at the other end. Now again, any questions, put them in the comments there. So this down this end.
It's nice in Aberdeen at the moment, and in Armagh it's fairly bright up in Armagh.
Right, so maybe it's going to move down to Dublin. Do you know that way? Maybe, as I said, it has dried up. You know the way. My husband was in Sligo yesterday, and he said it was pure shite. It wasn't just shite; it was pure shite. The weather in Sligo.
And actually, somebody did say it was shite in Cork.
It was absolutely lashing, he said. The wind was ferocious, because he went down with the plan of tidying up his mum's grave, and he had the grave wreaths, and he had the bark mulch, and the weed killer, and he'd all the stuff. And you know what he said? You wouldn't put your dog out in it. You wouldn't put your cat out in it.
Susie is saying she loves seeing all your tips and instructions.
Oh, brilliant, Susie.
And just for anybody as well, on YouTube, we actually have a lot of Christmas bowls up on YouTube.
And we've updated our YouTube channel lately, so you should find, what would you describe as
the playlist?
There's a playlist, okay? We sound like Spotify now, don't we? So there's a playlist, and you can see then, do you want to learn how to make bowls? Do you want to learn how to do flower arranging? Do you want to learn how top tips for flowers? So there's all these different topics, okay? And you can pick then which one you want to listen to. So again, you get the end of the ribbon, you start at one side and you do the tiniest little pleat, the tiniest little pleat, the tiniest little pleat, all the way across. And again, you pinch it in there together with your left hand if you're a right-handed person. You get the wire with your right hand, you make the hairpin bend, you place it in, it makes no difference the front or the back. I'm coming in at the back because the last time I did it at the front. My left hand thumb there is securing it all in nice and tight, squashing it all together. Leave a little bit of the red ribbon sticking out. With your strong hand, your right hand, hold the wire halfway down and then wrap that around 2 or 3 times and straighten back out again. And then when I let go, you can see the way the ribbon then is pleated in, but the little tip now then is open out the pleats and the gathers. Do you see the way I'm opening that out? And you get like that square end. So then when you secure it onto the wreath, upside down, when you secure it onto the wreath then, it sits much nicer. Do you know that way? It actually stands up and you can actually read it.
Celine has actually put up the link to the playlist.
Brilliant. You know what? She's a little treasure, she is, I tell you. Well, she's well worth the money we pay her.
Oh, absolutely.
Do you know what? I think we'll increase her wages
I think we will, yeah.
Now, as you know, or if you don't know, the Christmas competition is in full swing at the moment. The 10 finalists were picked last Wednesday, okay? And they're all over on the Case Flower School page on Facebook, because I know some of you are watching on YouTube and some of you are watching on Instagram. So you need to go over to the Case Flower School page on Facebook, because that's where the voting is taking place. Now, there's 2 of them neck and neck. They're nearly at the 600 votes at the moment, okay? And then there's a good few. It's like a horse race. They're coming up there behind, they're catching up, you know, that way. And the thing is, like, last week we were looking at the votes, and next of all, like, what would they call, the one that you wouldn't be watching?
Oh,
the dark horse.
The dark horse.
The dark horse then suddenly started galloping up behind it and I think actually came into second place. So there's still a lot of dark horses out there. So what you need to do is go over to the Case Flower School page. You'll see the 10 finalists, okay? Go down through them and like or vote for. How you vote is basically, it's a like competition. So like whichever photograph that you prefer, that you think is worthy. And what is the prize? So the prize is a place on the Module 1 Professional Floristry Programme starting on the 24th of January. This is a months-long programme. We supply all the flowers, all the materials. Actually today, that was something Deirdre was working on this morning. She's actually posting out the kits to the worldwide students. So there's America, there's Canada, there's parts parts of Europe, we haven't done the UK ones yet, we'll post them after Christmas, but anybody further afield than the UK, we're posting out all your kits this side of Christmas to make sure that you'll have them in plenty of time. So if there is anybody watching and you're further afield than the UK, maybe get in touch with us, book your place onto the Module 1 so that we can post your kit. And it'll obviously be the same for the winner, because this is a worldwide competition. Anybody can enter. It doesn't matter what part of the world that you're in. So we're going to post out all the kits in advance, and then 10 days into the programme, which is around the beginning of February, that's when they'll get their fresh flower delivery. And their fresh flower delivery will come direct from Holland to your hall door. And it doesn't matter where in the world you live, it doesn't matter what part of Ireland, the arsehole of County Kerry or the Aran Islands, wherever you happen to live, we'll get your flower delivery to you.
If you're in Ireland.
Yeah. And the other thing is then, for anybody that's not in for the competition, okay, that wants to book onto the Module 1 themselves, and there is SkillNet funding if you live in Ireland. So there's a 30%, normally it's only 20, okay, but they're doing 30% for January, which means instead of the course costing you €800, it costs you €560. That still includes all your flowers, all your materials, everything is included in the price. And again, the flowers get delivered directly to your door. So for more information on the Module 1 starting in January, drop us an email, info@caseflowerschool.com.
And we might just say there's a lot of gift vouchers have come in there today that are being posted
They're all being posted today. There's no problem. And then for last minute bookings, we'll send it out to you by email. Do you know that way? So again, if you're interested, our gift vouchers start at 25 euros. You can buy them for any amount and they can be used off any of our courses. So if there is any of the husbands listening there in the background and your wife has been listening to me and you're probably sick of listening to me, do you know that way? You could buy her a gift voucher and a pair of earphones. And that way then she can listen to our online program after Christmas and you won't have to listen to me at all. So listen, I think this will be probably one of our last live classes.
Yeah.
We do have a few Christmas story classes coming up over the next few days.
Yeah.
Tomorrow morning on our
When's
blog
the 20th?
page. Tomorrow.
Okay.
Oh, no, it's not. No, Wednesday's the 20th.
Okay, so on Wednesday on the website, and you probably will get, if you're on our email list, you'll get an email about it. The mantelpiece arrangements are going up on our website.
Okay, so all the mantelpiece arrangements, not the ones that are on our online program, they're always kept unique, that's different. But again, other mantelpiece arrangements that we have done over the years, they're all coming up on the website, on the blog page.
On the blog page.
Page on the website on the 20th, so that's Wednesday. Wednesday's going to be busy because you see, we're going to the Olympia on Wednesday evening.
Oh, to see the
Ollie, and James Patrice and the whole lot. We're going to see them on Wednesday evening, so that'll be good crack. The winner of the flower arranging, Christmas flower arranging competition, that'll be announced that evening.
Probably from the
Olympia. And as Deirdre said, all the mantelpiece arrangements, they're coming up on Wednesday. So Wednesday will be a busy, busy day. Anyone else here going to the pantomimes this year? We're going to Charlie and the Chocolate Factory next Saturday in the afternoon, so looking forward to that as well. So I think we leave it at that.
Listen, Celine says, have a lovely Christmas to you and your families.
Celine, and anybody else that's watching. And again, anybody that's watching this on the replay, huge thanks for joining in. We do appreciate all the support that we get, and especially for any of you out there that like and share our pages, share our pages in their flower arranging groups or their flower clubs or their gardening clubs. We really, really do appreciate all the shares that we get. So listen, have a great Christmas, Happy New Year, and talk to you all very soon. See you then. Bye bye.